refuse to lose. I'm built to win. Apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse. Mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running toes, they gon' take a few to lose. Built to win, apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win. Yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win. Apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I'm back with another episode. And today, we got some Friday Night Lights, y'all. One of the bigger games this week. I've been excited for it all week. I can't wait to talk about it. Tell y'all who I think winning. We got South Florida and at North Texas, sold out game for the Mean Green. I can't wait to talk about that game. We do got another game. We're talking about two games tonight. I would talk about the Mountain West game, but I really don't want to talk about the Mountain West game today. But yeah, but before we talk about the Friday Night Light games, we are a network. But first, I would like to ask that you like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps the channel, it helps the network, it helps my channel, CTC, by way of the Refuse to Lose Network. Next, let's rattle off these shows on the network. We have the main show featuring Joe, Tomo, and Dave every Tuesday and Friday, 7 to about 8:30. So be on the lookout for that show later tonight. Next, we have Unfazed every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, featuring Joe and AJ. Next, we got BWT, Baseball with Teddy. He dropped the episode around noon earlier today. Sorry again, my condolences for the Yankees, man. I was with y'all. I thought the Yankees would beat the Blue Jays. I really wanted to see a Yankees, or potential, Yankees, Tigers, ALCS series. That'd have been cool for the chat, cool for us. But again, my condolences. Speaking of the Tigers, what a game 4, what a rally. I'm not going to lie. By inning 3, I was like, pack this up, man. The Tigers, it's been fun. Just sign Screwball in the offseason. Let's make some moves. Let's make a run for it next year. But we explode in the 5th and the 6th inning. Javi, the MVP that he's been playing like, hit a bomb. And yeah, so shout out to them. We have game 5, winner takes all tonight at 8 o'clock. And I ain't going to lie to y'all. I'm nervous. I know Screwball's on the mound. Who else would I rather have on the mound than School? But we got to give him some run support, man. We got to give him some run support. So, but that's a big game. I'm nervous. Let's go Tigers. Next, we got FFC Fantasy Football with Coach Coombs. Week 6, started last night in an incredible fashion. The Giants absolutely beat the Eagles. They doubled them up. That's a good win for the Giants. Shout out my boy Jackson Dart. If you're a longtime watcher of CTC, you know I've been a Jackson Dart guy before any of these first-round projections, things like that. Even before my show at USC, I used to wonder why he wasn't starting over Keaton Slovis. Made no sense to me how at USC he wasn't starting over Keaton Slovis. But shout out Jay Dart. Hey, man, long grind. He's here now. Next, we have RBO, Road Ballers Only, he said he's dropping an episode later today, man. I'm just a messenger. He said he's dropping, so be on the lookout for that. Dave's Doghouse, highlights, lowlights of sport. So be on the lookout for that. He said he will be back soon. We have the Joe Jordan Show. He's dropping after Sunday Night Football. He's talking about the games. He's talking about the NBA. NBA is right around the corner, so be on the lookout for Joe Jordan Show. We have In the Red Corner, boxing episode featuring Ty, Ricky, and Tomo every other Sunday, so be on the lookout for them as well. And I believe that's all the shows we have on the network. So please like, comment, share, subscribe to all the shows as well. And if you like what you listen to, stick with us. So now that we got all the intros out the way, my brother in the comments, Friday Night Lights, yes, sir. Can't wait. Like I said, man, I've been super excited for this game. So we're going to talk about it first, not only because it's the first game on, but I'm excited for it. We got South Florida at North Texas tonight, 7:30 on ESPN2. Like I said, man, big game in the American Athletic Conference. South Florida, 24th, ranked 24th in the country. North Texas, undefeated. We got a battle of the run game of South Florida, led by explosive quarterback Byron Brown, and North Texas, led by Drew Mastermaker, who's just putting up explosive. They're just putting up points on the board every week. They're an explosive offense, but they struggle with the run. So let's get into it. If you're new here, I get 5 keys for each team to win the game, and then I pick a winner and I explain why. So first, I will start with the road team. We're going to start with South Florida on the road. They got to establish the run game with Byron Brown using his legs. He was huge last week, over 150 yards. They had 5 total touchdowns. He was just immaculate on the ground last week against Charlotte. So got to establish him. You got to establish the run, period, though, because like I said, North Texas, terrible against the run. So you got to establish the run game, period. Byron Brown, he has to be accurate, which he was pretty accurate against Charlotte. He did miss some throws. He's going to do that, but he was, for the most part, pretty accurate against Charlotte. He has to be accurate, however, to keep the defense on his toes, because how I feel, North Texas is going to come out. They're going to come out to sell out to stop the run, in my opinion. But if Byron Brown is back there delivering an accurate football, you can't do that. You have to then account for the pass. So he got to be accurate in this football game. They got to get off the field on third downs. And they got to remain opportunistic and force turnovers. South Florida's defense is very opportunistic. Very opportunistic. They got a couple turnovers last week. Now, I will say Charlotte, whose defense was the opposite of opportunistic, they only had 1 turnover coming to the game, forced like 4 of them. So they got to protect the football. They can't have that happen again. You would rather get the blunders out the way, though, against Charlotte with a matchup like this. Now for North Texas, they got to figure out that run defense. Last I looked, they were 114th in the country out of 134, 135 in rush defense. You got to figure that out. You got to strike first. You're at home, sold out home crowd. Got to strike first in this game. It just gets the crowd more involved. South Florida, they like to be up tempo, look to the sideline, get the call. You strike first, get the crowd involved. It could disrupt the South Florida offense. Drew Mastermaker has to continue to protect the football. He has 11 touchdowns to 0 interceptions on the season. That 0 needs to stay at 0 against the South Florida team, because you don't want to give a team who's, first of all, good at running the football, and you're bad at stopping the football extra possessions, because that leads to clock, and that leads to, less opportunities to take the ball away. If they got the ball with the lead and they're able to turn it over, have a short field, and just keep pounding, it's harder to force a fumble than it is to force an interception. So you want to protect the football if you're Drew Mastermaker. Keep that 0 in the interception column. Score, score, score. If you can figure out this South Florida defense and put up a bunch of points like you've been doing all year, 1, it gets South Florida out of that ability to just run the football, makes them have to pass more to catch up. And 2, this South Florida defense ain't really used to playing catch up. When they had to against Miami, they got stomped. Now Miami is Miami, so take with that if you want. But the Florida game, they hung around, was able to stay close, won the game off walk-off field goal. Boise State just dominated them. Didn't allow Boise State to score many points. Charlotte dominated them. Charlotte, they put up points late, but South Florida was in control of that game. I was just sweating out the minus 27.5, which did hit. And you want to keep Byron Brown in the pocket. He's a dynamic, I would say, elite college football playmaker when it comes to making plays outside the pocket, running, things of that nature. You got to turn Byron Brown into a pocket passer, and not allow him to gas you for big runs, escaping the pocket and scrambling. But my winner, I'm so excited for this game. I don't really do this, but I'm going to add a drum roll if I can find it quick enough. Let's see. I don't see it, so we're just not going to add it. And I probably scroll past it. It's all good. South Florida, that's my winner tonight. Like I said, it's just the fact that South Florida is extremely run-driven, and North Texas is 114th against the run. So I think South Florida is going to come in and pound the rock. North Texas is going to have a super tough time stopping it. Even if they do try to sell out, they're going to have a tough time stopping it. And again, North Texas, they haven't really experienced too many turnovers. They have. I'm not saying they haven't went turnover less this season, but the quarterback hasn't thrown a pick. I think they fumbled against South Alabama last week or 2 weeks ago. I can't remember, but they really haven't experienced that many turnovers. And against this opportunistic defense of South Florida, I think South Florida does force a couple turnovers, which allows them to keep establishing the run and take clock and potentially score touchdowns. So I'm banking on South Florida's run game. Byron Brown, the dynamic athlete he is, just overpowering and taking over this game. North Texas will put up points. I do think North Texas puts up points. I think that is a continued habit for them. But I just think the run game is too much for South Florida. Now, the one thing that could hurt South Florida in this one is how fast and up-tempo they are on offense. Even last week, with like 2 minutes and some change left, up 20. The reason why the minus 27 and a half hit, I think they was up 24, is because they didn't bleed the clock and run the clock out of 24, whatever they was, with 2 minutes left. They were still hiking the ball with like 20, 30 seconds left on the play clock. So they're so up tempo. That may come back and cost them, but I'm going with South Florida. The run game is just too much. South Florida was one of my teams I said to look out for in the group of 5, and so far they have been proving me right, and I think they continue to do so against North Texas. Now, the next game, last game I wanted to talk to y'all about is Rutgers at Washington. Washington. I got them at 10.5. I think when I made this, they were 10.5. I think they're 11.5 favorites now. Let me double check real quick. I got FanDuel right here. I get my odds from FanDuel. Yeah, they're 11.5 point favorites, so I'm gonna edit that on the fly. But now Washington is 11.5 point home favorites against Rutgers. Rutgers won this matchup at home last year with Ethan Kelly Amanis, Kyle Monunga, Ian Strong, and them. Christian Dremel had a really good performance at home. But Washington's looking to get some home cooking themselves in a revenge game. Rutgers run Antoine Raymond. Antoine Raymond has been the heart and soul of this team on the ground. Now coming into the season, I thought it would be C.J. Campbell, the transfer running back from, I believe, FAU. But Antoine Raymond has taken over this backfield, and he has done wonders with it. Get Ian Strong the ball. He is your contested catch guy. He was huge last year against Washington. I think he's going to be huge again against Washington this year. You got to get him the football. Ethan Kelly-Agamanis has to protect the football. They got to contain Jonah Coleman. Jonah Coleman has been running like a man possessed this year. He's been on a tear at running back for the Washington Huskies. And they also cannot forget about Jamal Williams and his running ability at the quarterback position. He's a dynamic quarterback. He can make plays with his legs, so you got to contain his legs as well. Now for Washington, obviously, you want to match firepower. They want to run Antoine Raymond. You want to run Jonah Coleman. Like I said, been running like a man possessed. Get Denzel Boston the ball. He's your explosive playmaker at the receiver position for Washington. You want to get him as many touches as you can. He was actually big last year, him and Giles Jackson. Have to contain Antoine Raymond. Pressure Ethan Kelly-Agamanis. Kelly-Agamanis is doing really well with the football this year. I believe 9 touchdowns or 10 touchdowns, 2 picks. Pressure him. Maybe you get some picks in this one. And get off the field on third downs. That was kind of – they started off well against Ohio State, getting off the field. But then they couldn't. So you want to get off the field against this Rutgers offense on third downs. But my winner in this one, go on Washington. I think they both take their home series. One, Rutgers has not done a great job of closing out games or late game situations. Iowa late game, they kind of lost it. Minnesota late game, you had the bot snap that basically ruined the possession to potentially tie or take the lead late game. So Rutgers has shown issues in late game situations, even allowing Ohio to come back in that first game. It starts to make a little bit more sense now, the Ohio-Rutgers game, about how Ohio was able to come back and potentially take the lead in that one or win that one. So I think late game issues rear their ugly head again in the Washington-Rutgers game. I think Rutgers, they do a good job on the ground. I think Kelly-Agamanis has been having a spectacular season, and I think he has a good game this game. Like I said, I just think late game issues rear their ugly head. Jonah Coleman, I think Jonah Coleman goes crazy this game. But I'm going with Washington to win the game at home. Now, that's it for Friday Night Lights. Now, I do want to do this. This is not college football related. This is college basketball related. I do want to take a moment of silence and say RIP Sister Jean. All right. Sister Jean, man, she took the college basketball world by storm in the 2017-2018 season. when Loyola Chicago made the Final Four, losing to Michigan, every round they would pan to her. When they're doing well, they would like win close games. They beat teams like Kansas State, Tennessee, Miami University on the way to that Final Four appearance. It was just magical. It was magical. And Sister Jean looked like she enjoyed every second of the ride. They was giving her, like I said, all the national spotlight, putting her on the camera, stuff like that. And she lived a long life, man. She lived to about 106 years old, but it's still sad news in the college basketball world. I remember, again, they were showing her in the 2021 season when they lost in the Sweet 16 to Oregon State, when Oregon State went on their magical run to the Elite Eight. Yeah, man, it's just a sad news to hear in the college basketball world. So, again, RIP Sister Jean. You made an impact on the sport, and I'm pretty sure when the sport comes up, they will give her her flowers and her condolences. So shout out to University of Loyola Chicago. I did want to have that moment of silence for her. But I will be back tomorrow. To talk about the rest of Week 7, the Saturday games. We have a big matchup, including Alabama at Mizzou, so stay tuned to see what I have winning there. Also, I want to say that the Who You Got did win. Tulane won the game by a touchdown. I will talk about that more in depth and notable games on whenever I do my This Week in College Football Week 7. Anything else I want to say? Be on the lookout for RBO, like I said. The main show is also later tonight in about 5 hours, so be on the lookout for that. Y'all enjoy y'all college football tonight. Enjoy whatever you got tonight. You know, like I said, Tigers play tonight, so I'm going to have to flip between both. I'm nervous about that. But I'm gone, y'all. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.